that's going to be quite the factor as well. Note that Daheem is going to be the key sniper from DeToNator.KOREA. So right now, though, we're not going to be on Ruins just yet, starting things out on Lighthouse.
And
well, my mistake.
Yeah, and both teams relatively the same lineup. Key difference here being Logitech Geobang running the Moira over the Zenyatta, but early pressure just kind of jostling around the side. I do believe DeToNator actually have control of that health pack. So far, just jostling for position, looking to get a wraparound here, trying to catch all these members in this small space. It's paying off as they're able to take out Krong. That's a very confident maneuver by Smileable and totally paying off, taking barely any damage through that and just giving the team the opening to lay the damage down with that defense matrix. That's going to give the point to a Bang.
Also notice that a Bang didn't overcommit there. They didn't overstay their welcome. Got the D-Mech on the Crom, backed off, and then got themselves a cap as well this time around, even stopping Crom for getting the remake. This gives them another player advantage.
This is really smart by them as well. This is just pushing that advantage further forward. They knew that the DeToNator couldn't contest because of Krong not having the mech. Then they knew that they could kill Krong because he didn't have the mech.
Now we're in a sort of scenario where one ultimate has been expended by a Bang, but they are also 23, now coming up to 25% in terms of objective ahead. Coalescence shouldn't take too long for OWC to get back into the mix, but other ultimates now coming online for a Bang as well.
Ooh, Blitz. Oh, little bit. I can't even say overextended. He's in friendly territory. Blue as well, getting the wraparound. This guy's just being unanswered right now. First of all, the catch on Blitz. Now the D-Mech as well on Krong. A Bang are really extending this lead.
This is the kind of start that they wanted, and for a matchup where you really expect DeToNator.KOREA to be the ones coming out guns blazing, it's been Logitech G a Bang instead. Right from that very first fight, you see the way they maneuver around the map, take position, put DeToNator.KOREA against a wall, trap them into a corner, get easy picks, get 1 or 2 picks, and then leave it at that. They never overextend, and so far, a Bang are collecting a lot of percentage off it.
That being said, this is the small space they've been able to funnel them into. Blitz has at least got that down on them, but no, not able to get the conversion now as the sound barrier is able to come out of Shin. They were already at a numbers advantage there as well, a Bang. They're looking really hot for this opener. Crazy's able to get out of the line of fire. No one died there on a Bang, and they only used the one ultimate.
And the big problem is that one ultimate was a big one too. EMP, you usually see a lot of success. You usually see a lot of mileage out of just that one ultimate, but on the other side of the coin rather, sometimes you don't see anything at all. And that time was right now for DeToNator.
Now a Bang. Looking to get their own EMP in. Early Coalescence, they have lost Narc. Not ideal from them. They are going to have to commit the EMP. Need to start getting the close out now. There's Sleepy Bear's own sound barrier to answer in kind, much as a Bang did just a moment ago. But it is DeToNator still kind of fighting from behind. Now losing Krong. A Bang still have all these tools. Narc should be able to re-enter as well with that Primal Rage. You see DeToNator a little bit split, are trying to pull back so they can readdress this fight. Not having too much success with that, but they are at least getting some picks. What they need now is to find a window whereupon they can group up and start getting on the point to leverage those picks out, but they're having a hard time. They're still just kind of scrapping around separated. It's actually a Bang who so far have been able to regroup now. Pressure on Modern. He needs to stay alive.
And the problem is DeToNator.KOREA actually came into this fight with a pretty decent ultimate advantage. They're now using those ultimates. EMP coming out as well, but we need to see the value. We need to see the results, and currently they're the ones losing members.
Oh, that's a great catch on Smileable, and crucially Oyo as well, who had just got another Coalescence. That could have been a real swing factor. However, that does give the point to DeToNator, but just barely. That was a second cycle of ultimates that did that. A Bang are going to be able to come back in at 99% with more ultimates.
The other problem for DeToNator as well, they would have preferred not to use the EMP right at the end. They had to use the EMP because none of the other ultimates really registered a tone. Nothing really affected a Bang until the EMP came out. Then a decent number of kills came out from DeToNator.KOREA. Issue is, they don't have enough ultimates to maybe defend again.
And a Bang. They're just taking their time. Going to go in with the sound barrier. Very aggressive, but they've got Apache. They're just getting right back around the edge of DeToNator. Going for a complete wraparound, though. Blue's going to lose his life for it. Crazy's did as well. That removes a lot of that flank pressure. In with this Coalescence. Sleepy Bear doesn't sound barrier. It goes down instead, and they're able to top off Narc. No, finally going down to a pulse pop. A Bang aren't really in control of this fight just yet, though. No one has died, or at least not enough deaths yet on DeToNator.KOREA for this to really stick for a Bang just yet. Now, the longer they keep fighting, the worse it gets for them. Getting Daheem out of the picture, though, gives them the opening onto the point. Now it's DeToNator fighting on the back foot. They're able to go in with that sound barrier. Crazy's again dying with that EMP available. Now a Bang actually have to hold out for him because he's their win condition. That's the ultimate they need to convert. They're just going to have to back off and try again.
They're starting to see the DeToNator.KOREA tenacity as well. Never truly backed off the point. Managed to maintain pressure the entire time. Didn't allow the cap to go through for Logitech Giabang, which importantly gave DeToNator.KOREA themselves a lot of percentage to work with. Now, when we go into this potential final fight, expecting DeToNator.KOREA to reach their own 99% overtime.
We need to see Crazies get an EMP off. So far, Blitz's sort of 1-1 for successes and failures. Good hack onto Krong, but they want to get a closeout on that mech before he can self-destruct. I think they've got it. Indeed, they have. No reset for him. There's the EMP in for Crazies. This is all going to be closed out, but he does lose his life to Daheem. Less than ideal, but Narc's pulling the weight. Oyo as well with that Coalescence, able to keep these tanks well topped off in spite of that pulse bomb. This is now a rescue transcendence for Apache. It's more a stall tool than anything else. Shin going down is a little bit rough. They're only down to the one healer at this point, but Bang still have the ground control. It's 99 to 99, but again, Blue is able to kind of duck and weave around this point. They're looking to get rid of Apache now. Does get traded out with Oyo, but Smileable down. Crazies as well. They haven't got enough legs in this fight just yet. DeToNator, they're still in control of the point. They've been able to reinforce. Now they're coming into ultimates. No way, a Bang step off. And at no point do they ever quite have the numbers advantage, ever quite close out the kills despite a massive early lead.
And a lot of the difference came down to the fact that DeToNator.KOREA towards the end of that map as well, they weren't so ready to back off anymore. Right at the start of the game, you see Krong getting demeched, then getting killed before he can remech into again. Oyo into the Coalescence, picking up another kill. It's always DeToNator.KOREA losing a couple of members saying, okay, well, we're not too interested in continuing this brawl. Get those reinforcements, re-enter with 6, and then potentially losing another member again. That's how originally a Bang got themselves to 99, but when the tables turned, DeToNator.KOREA got themselves the cap, used their ultimates and stuck onto the point. They were very difficult to remove.
I mean, that felt like a Bang's point, but the truth is they lost fight after fight the fight. And now moving on to Ruins. It's going to be the old Daheem versus Blue, the Widow on Widow situation. And also DeToNator's opportunity to close out this first map of the quarterfinals. So a Bang are the ones who need to answer back here.
So far, a Bang has done a fairly decent job of kind of relieving the pressure that DeToNator.KOREA originally had. Very even picks have come out so far.
These are tough trades. Crazy's going down on the point, though. That is, I mean, a symptom of both the healers of Bang being dead, but a Bang also still have enough presence around here. Smileable losing the mech late in the mix, though. Looking to get a few more picks out of Blue, but meanwhile, the ground game was overly won out by Blitz.
You can see the early pressure from DeToNator.KOREA as well. The way they dived the choke point to stop a Bang from coming out, giving Daheem a little bit of space to work through as well. A Bang survived that. They got the counter dive, but they were starting to lose members. They did get trades as well, but not enough trades to stop DeToNator.KOREA from capping out. Last time we saw a Bang get an early lead. This time they don't have that lead.
Oh, Pulse Bomb in. Oyo unfortunately floated back into it. Didn't initially get stuck, and therefore is going to go down. Smileable as well, getting D-maxed. Not too much of an answer yet, only really picking off Blitz, but now as they get modded, they look to get stuck onto the point. DeToNator.KOREA, though, they've got ultimates to cycle through here. First this Transcendence, now Krong can get a self-destructed, so a Bang. They're still the ones who need to exert the pressure. Now that they've been able to regroup, looking to get back in on that back line with that ultimate out the Infrasight from Blue. Keep tabs on all these members. They need to keep Nut alive as well. Unfortunately, he goes down, but they look like they've maybe just got enough pressure on the back line. They have got the point cap as well. Now they're looking to extend that lead once again.
DeToNator.KOREA couldn't quite keep Sleepy Bear alive long enough to get the sound barrier out in that fight, getting themselves pushed backwards. A crucial cap coming out into the middle of that, a very quick cap that now allows Logitech Giabang to collect that 20%. DeToNator.KOREA don't quite have enough of a lead yet to really threaten a win here, so Logitech Giabang swinging over that point cap, now having some ultimates as well. You can look to see them maybe hold on to this point a little bit longer.
It's just fishing for those shots now. Primal Rage out of Modern, trying to try and pressure out Blue. They've gone in with the sound barrier as well, able to bump him off the edge. That is ideal. Now they've kind of given Daheem the open space. Smileable going to throw out a self-destruct. Good pick onto Modern as well with the bomb. Crazies does lose his life ultimately. And a bang, not quite getting that quick conversion here. Not quite able to get onto those backliners in that same capacity. Now Krong is going to be able to stall out with this self-destruct. Might not even need to use it at this rate because, again, those supports being relatively untouched means they've been able to keep these tanks, or even just this one tank. Remember, Modern did die earlier, alive the whole way through, and DeToNator get back in control of the point.
The thing is, Modern was basically the only member to die from DeToNator Korea as well. When he did die, his job was already done. He managed to get Blue off the map, locked up that front line against Logitech Giga as well, allowed DeToNator Korea to flood onto that cap, flood around the flank, get themselves to flank. After he died, the rest of his team just cleaned up kills.
Hello. Now, once again, DeToNator, they have the tools to rotate through. They've crucially got that Transcendence. And every time they've had that up, ABANG have struggled to win the fight from there. They're a little bit too committed by the time it comes out, and often DeToNator are able to use it to convert kills, but now at a numbers advantage, this may be a bit more of a rescue ultimate. They need to respect Dahim's sightlines. Crazies though, playing hit and run on the backside of this, does need to play careful. Keeping pressure on Dahim is nice, but they've lost Smiteable. Now they lose Oyo, and again, ABANG are really diving here. This is just crazies, and because of that, they're kind of half committed. The rest scrapping out on the point just ultimately wasn't enough. That was a situation where I think if a lot of ABANG had have gone in with crazies, they could have got those kills that they needed, but unfortunately lacking in them, and it is going to be DeToNator getting the 2-0.
That 100-0 at the end there for DeToNator. In fact, it wasn't 100-0. That's incorrect. ABANG were able to get a cap towards that middle section, but quite importantly, unlike what we saw onto Well, it was ABANG coming in with a 99% forcing DeToNator Korea to play on the back foot, putting a lot of pressure onto them to make them potentially have forced areas. But going into Ruins, it was just the other way around. You didn't see ABANG get that very early lead. You didn't get to see them collect those very early picks, which could then snowball them a lot of percentage points. This time around, it was ABANG starting on their own back foot, and that's a big problem against a team like DeToNator Korea, because they didn't beat DeToNator Korea despite having that great lead. They're certainly not going to do it by being behind.
And that's the thing, there was even actually a point on Ruins there where they were in the lead in terms of point percentage after they kept it back, but then of course lost it again, and then DeToNator were able to hold them from that point onwards. So, I mean, I feel like there's kind of two sides to this. First of all, I've got to say that is actually one of the more competitive maps I've seen between DeToNator Korea and indeed anyone else. And I don't want to say that's surprising, but coming out of the 4th place seed from the enemy team, that's not the team I was expecting to have that kind of showing. But at the same time, we have to say, for how close it was, ABANG are still losing the fights a lot more often than they're winning them. And that's no better encapsulated as it is on Well, where they were at 99%, had a very long protracted fight that they were often in the lead of, but never quite closed out, and then suddenly it was too late and they didn't win a fight from that point onward. They only needed one.
I think that's correct, right? Because you mentioned earlier on that this is obviously one of the more competitive matches that we've seen against DeToNator Korea from any team that they've faced so far. That includes teams like Hong Kong Attitude. But at the same time, we've also mentioned that a team like Logitech Giga, this kind of underdog team, you underestimate them quite easily. You look at them and you say, this is not even a full-time team. You don't have to try too hard against them. Well, every time any team has underestimated them, this has kind of been the result. And that result is, if you don't take them seriously enough, they will take maps off you. And the problem for DeToNator Korea now is that they have had this big rude awakening. They're going to have to come into map 2 much stronger.
And that's the truth as well here for DeToNator Korea on the other side of that. As much as they do see the path ahead of them relatively clear, of course, a benefit of the 1st place finish being getting to play against the 4th place seed from the opposite group, which naturally is going to be most likely a weaker team. It's still no yellow brick road, right? This isn't wide open seas, you know, no waves.
Not in Town yet.
Trade winds. Sure, but you know, the path is not actually that clear. It's just looking very doable. And certainly 1-0 up for DeToNator Korea, pushed or no, they are in the lead of the series as we now go into Hollywood, where they're looking to take it to match point.
And it's hard to say, but like we're already there. I mean, it's the difference between a 4-map series and a best of 5, I guess.
Yeah.
If DeToNator Korea win this one, we are going to be on that match point. Logitech Giga, again, coming in as the underdog team. That would be certainly not where they like to end up, especially not after that performance on Ilios, but at the same time, it would be also a expected result from DeToNator Korea. Now, something that you also mentioned earlier, the fact that it was competitive, it was very close on Ilios, but it is still DeToNator Korea winning. They still did not actually drop a single map on Ilios, despite all of that.
And that's the thing, even when they were all the way at 0 to 99, where the numbers disadvantage, they were still able to pull ahead and win that fight. That's also the caliber of this team, right? That's what Logitech G Abang have to beat here. I'll be honest, I think if that had been most other teams in this competition, including these other ones in these quarterfinals, that ruins, that well was the sort of map that Abang probably would have won in that situation, but this isn't one of those teams. This is DeToNator Korea. This is the first seed. This is the only dropped 2 maps team from the regular season that Abang are up against in this quarter.
And now my concern has to be that, you know, in regards to player mentality here, if you were going to take a map of DeToNator Korea, it probably was going to be on Ilios. You could tell that that was going to be a nail biter. DeToNator Korea could have easily not have won that well map, but at the same time, the fact that they had the tenacity to keep it going, you saw the mentality shift for them as well. Them saying, okay, let's stop paying too much respect to Abang. We know we're the better team here. Go at them as 6, go at them as even 5, and they started winning in that matter. Now that DeToNator Korea have had that taste of blood, they know Logitech G Abang are bleeding. I think they're going to go in for the kill.
And that's the truth of DeToNator. They know their own limits, and the moment they have sounded out the limits of the enemy team, if they know their limits are higher, they will go in, they will fight you, and you aren't going to get a moment's pause. So, now on the defense here, DeToNator Korea, I mean, they're naturally going to be fishing for that ideal situation. The full hold dive in doesn't quite close out on Oyo, but they're keeping the pressure on those supports. And that means Logitech G Abang are actually backing up here, but that may mean they've led DeToNator Korea a bit forward into a trap. Krong is able to get out, though, despite getting demacked, and clearing blue as well. It means actually DeToNator can reset on this defense and remack Krong.
It's a bit of a problem for DeToNator Korea because it already reminds me of Ilios. Well, this is when we saw Krong get demacked. The difference is Logitech G Abang get to click blue from the respawn room so much quicker. Look at Krong, not even, in fact, he has demacked by now.
Long since. Oh, early pick on Sleepy Bear, kind of traded here, but the coalescence from Apache, no, he doesn't keep Blitz alive. They're still taking out the other support of Abang, though, and so often we're seeing this, both Shin and Oyo being dead, kind of leaves Abang a little bit legless in these fights, and they're struggling to make those answers when they're getting traded upon. Once again, the numbers just falling the way of DeToNator Korea, and Logitech G Abang going to have to reset.
We're seeing 2 ways DeToNator Korea playing here as well. The first way, on that initial defense, we saw them diving quite aggressively. They lost Krong for this one. This time around, they're playing a little bit more defensively, but they're get some kills right now.
Crazy's going straight in. Abang, quick reset. DeToNator were a little bit back-footed by that. They weren't expecting Abang to go in that quickly. I've really got to respect the confidence out of Abang. That was recognizing how quickly they could reset, recognizing that at any rate they ought to take fights as frequently as possible, and also recognizing that DeToNator hadn't reset themselves either. That was beautiful from Abang.
And now a forced reset onto DeToNator Korea, who themselves understand we're not going to go back onto the A. Daheem already changed into Widowmaker. Blue about to meet him in that head-to-head combat that we've already seen on Ilios Ruins. For DeToNator Korea, though, they did manage to back up with 2 pretty crucial ultimates that they can and should use here.
Again, we're going to be seeing this Daheem Blue match. Oh, wow. Already getting the headshot on Blue. I was just about to say, we didn't actually get to see too much of that on Ilios. They weren't hitting each other very often. That's a great closeout on Blitz, actually, who had popped that ultimate. They do have to trade it out with their Primal Rage, though, and they aren't exactly getting progress on the payloads. That's a little bit of a sour pill for Abang.
Ends up being a pretty decent ultimate trade for DeToNator Korea, all things considered. It's now changing onto the Sombra, forcing out a Primal Rage from Narc is a pretty important tool. And DeToNator Korea, even despite losing that Dragon Blade, they're not at risk of being capped out. They're not at risk of massive payload movement because Logitech G Abang were already pushed backwards.
Abang don't really have any momentum here as they move into B. In fact, they have to scrap for this high ground before they can even make progress on that payload. And again, losing Oyo early in the fight. The counter dive from DeToNator Korea has so far proved generally more effective than Abang's own dive. Up until now, because Abang are actually getting those kills in. They do lose Crazies in this situation, but they've created a space for themselves. They'll be able to get Modern out, which relieves a lot of that counter dive pressure, and it does mean they get the cart moving and also still have the closer respawn.
This time you also did see Daheem get repositioned as well, caught on the ground level instead of the high ground. Logitech G Abang get a decent amount of cart movement off this. Daheem already popped the infra slate. Blitz isn't very close to the EMP just yet. Note that he did change Sombra fairly recently, but looks to be where the cart will stop for the time being. Understand that DeToNator Korea are still reasonably ahead of momentum.
Oh man, that was a cute play. Abang kind of abandoned the cart there to try and get a wrap around, get the drop on DeToNator Korea, and it's kind of worked here. DeToNator.KOREA certainly a little uncomfortable, kind of having to fight out of this narrow space, and technically at a numbers disadvantage. Now more so as they lose Blitz, losing Krong's mech as well. He does get a self-destruct, but that doesn't slow down a Bang too much. In fact, the only casualty so far on a Bang, actually now the Oyo is dead, that's no longer true, but it had only been blue so far. They're still getting the kills their way here, a Bang. They had to move off the payload, which means they didn't get heaps of momentum, but now getting it back underway, they are still very much in control of this fight. DeToNator need to be careful to not overcommit here, or they're not going to get another opportunity to contest.
Blitz does actually have the EMP available now. Daheem with the Infrasight as well is going to allow him to spot out locations to place this EMP. All that DeToNator.KOREA waiting on is their reinforcements. Once they have a full 6-man unit, they're going to engage with this EMP. Expect a lot of blood.
There it is, right in, no hesitation, and the first blood being drawn is Blitz. Smilable does not get the self-destruct out, was still hacked there, and the res on Blitz as well. Smilable fully closed out upon. DeToNator.KOREA just leveraging that ultimate advantage because Narc used the Primal Rage late in the fight, and Smilable wasn't able to commit the self-destruct. They didn't really have anything after that EMP came out, but for the next fight, they are going to have a lot more at their disposal.
And this is also going to be the last fight that DeToNator.KOREA in this defense on B that they can afford to go away, wait for respawners, regroup, because the cart is nearly capped out onto B. If Logitech Giabang are allowed any free time, they're going to complete this offense onto B. We're going to be on to C. DeToNator.KOREA, they have to stay on this point. They have to get aggressive now.
And by rights, a Bang should get there. Narc low. Oh, man. Both ultimates already committed out from a Bang. Both cut down as well, though, so effectively a 2 for 2. But that means not a lot of mileage out of the ults. Narc's dead as well. Where are these supports? Where's the healing coming through? And also, no one was even on the card.
That's a bit of a problem for Logitech Giabang. Also consider that sound barrier was saved by Shin. If that sound barrier was used in that last offense, maybe in support of Crazy's Genji Dragonblade, that could have been a very different fight. That was going to be the biggest window so far that a Logitech Giabang could have taken advantage of. DeToNator.KOREA didn't have any ults at the time. They now have 3.
And that was flat misexecution out of a Bang. It's now put DeToNator in a favorable position. A Bang are fighting from behind. They've already lost 2 members in this fight as well. They've only got 20 seconds about left here. I don't even know if they can necessarily reset in time. I think they're going to be in full panic mode at this rate, especially with Smilable getting staggered out like this.
They definitely can reset, but the problem is when they do reset, they're going to have less than 10 seconds to dive onto this cart. DeToNator.KOREA are going to get very aggressive now. They know that Logitech Giabang have to run for this. Look at that transcendence out of Oyo. He knows he has to dive for it.
Just to get on the point, Blue, oh, not even able to get onto it. Super unfortunate. And I'm not sure what happened in that fight where Smilable killed Sleepy Bear with the self-destruct, and we saw the Dragon Blade as well coming out there for a Bang, but I mean, I can only assume they were diving, but they must have been diving way ahead of the cart and way ahead of their own teammates. The fact that so many people died with the healers not even anywhere in sight, there wasn't even a counter dive coming out. It's not like the healers were dead. That was where it kind of turned sour there for a Bang. That was the fight they should have won to take them into C. Not winning that now puts them in a really rough position on their own defense.
Well, the problem is you did see a Bang get a little bit impatient there. They were looking too aggressively for a dive without setting up on the cart first. If they understood that they had ultimate advantage, they would play for the objective, force DeToNator.KOREA to come to them, and then be able to use those ultimates on DeToNator.KOREA in a position where DeToNator.KOREA can't effectively peel for themselves. If Logitech Giabang, and in this case they certainly did, go too aggressive, dive too deep, like you said, ahead of the cart even, that's when they can get punished by disengage on the DeToNator.KOREA side, which is exactly what happened. And then the next fight after that, DeToNator.KOREA had advantage.
And it was a little bit unfortunate for a Bang. When they're recognizing their opportunities, the execution is there for this team. They are winning fights in those situations. You need only look as far as their successful attack on point A. That was fully just recognizing a window and diving on it with no hesitation. That's what this team can do. That's what they're capable of. But we're also kind of seeing the other side of that coin where sometimes they kind of misread the situation or mis-execute, and they need to start tidying that up.
We are seeing the difference right now. DeToNator.KOREA, they have dropped a couple of fights. Let's not be beating around the bush about that one, but at the same time, when it really does count, when DeToNator.KOREA really do need to win, outside of that A defense here, on B, they absolutely won those kind of fights. And Logitech Giabang, they had good starts, but unfortunately, they're not very good at closing them out.
I have to say though, all that considered, this is still the best we've ever seen Logitech Giabang. As I say that, Blue does lose his life, but they clearly are out in better form than ever for this quarterfinal. Losing Crazies as well. This
should, yeah,
it should just be a cap from this point for DeToNator.KOREA. Unless Narc and Smileable get a ton of work done, it actually looks like they're going to maybe wait for respawns and then come back into contest.
I don't know if they'll be able to do that in time. Note that Crazy's also changed onto a McCree, which is going to have a little bit harder time coming back in here, and certainly are going to go for it.
They've dived in. Blue has bought them the time on the point to get the tanks, and the hard thing is going to be getting Crazies into a good position. They've already lost Narc, which means Crazies a little bit less safe now as the dive comes in. Smileable had to be on the front line with Blue rather than peeling back to protect Crazies, and unfortunately that has given DeToNator.KOREA all the window they need to secure the point, but also get a second round of kills in that. That's going to give them a nice bit of ultimate charge.
The most important thing is, though, it was stopped at 87 roughly %. Logitech G-Bang came in for that final contest. Now, the problem with stopping at 87 and then dying at 87% is now they're going to have to respawn a little bit further away. DeToNator.KOREA get to have a bit of momentum going into this B push. They can set up for high ground. They can set up very early positioning. And a bang, you can sort of tell right now, they've only just started to reinforce.
Yeah, only just getting set up in this position. Compared to DeToNator.KOREA's own defense, where at this point, a bang, we're having to dive them on the high ground just to get the card underway. Not going to be the same story here for DeToNator.KOREA. They're still keeping momentum on that objective. It's a bang who are having to get onto it to stop it out. Now DeToNator.KOREA dictating the pace of the fight here, already with the opening kill as well. Also, all the ultimates at their disposal. Ultimate from Krong just kind of split the team up. It is divide and conquer. First the divide, now the conquer. Couple of nice picks back the other way out of Blue, but he's going to get pressured out of that position.
Oh,
barely gets out with his life by the looks of things, but at any rate, DeToNator.KOREA's successful fight and progress on the card.
And now we're starting to see Korea get most of these opening picks. In fact, pretty much all the opening picks. It's going to be Logitech G-Bang having to respond, but they're going to be very quick about it this time around.
Coalescence just trying to get aggressive. It does pay off, barely keeping Narc and Crazies both alive. That was very crucial for them. And we're really seeing the difference when the supports have those line of sights to the tanks, when they're able to stay in the fight long enough. The kills start to come through for a bang, and pretty convincingly so as well.
Note that Daheem this time isn't playing the Widowmaker. They're not counter-sniping against Blue on their own offense for DeToNator.KOREA. They're going to try and rely on flank pressure from both Blitz and Daheem, and also Krong on some level as well, going on top of Blue, getting that hard dive in. But a lot of this composition also relies on cart pressure, cart distance most importantly, because if they do want to get past this round corner, they do need to deal with Blue.
DeToNator.KOREA just kind of ducking and weaving on the dive. Oh, sound barrier too late to save Narc there, and now Smileable pressured out as well. And once again, losing that front line. It's this really, like, we're either seeing a bang just absolutely go off without really much response, or we're seeing either both the tanks or both the supports getting picked off very quickly and then just losing all ability to pressure the point.
DeToNator.KOREA are doing a really great job of resetting quickly and coming into fights fresh. When they come into fights fresh and they get the proactive response as well, they're the ones that oftentimes get the better results here. The one time that we've seen Logitech G-Bang become proactive, that's when they've had good results themselves. But right now, all losing picks.
It's last chance here for them as well. Smileable committed the self-destruct, but he won't be able to get back into the mix. And now Oyo just kind of stalling for really no one. They have got some picks, but they need to still respect Blitz and Daheem both. In fact, not respecting Blitz has lost Crazies his life. A bang have a closer respawn here, but stuff from Kron. No, it's on this. Oh, barely getting onto it in time here was Blue, but I think it may have been Crazies, but at any rate, they're already getting dropped down once again. DeToNator.KOREA, they haven't really lost the members. They've still got the ground control. They've still got the positioning on this point. Losing Sleepy Bear. Apache as well, only just respawned, so he's slowly floating his way to the fight. I think a bang have just barely been able to push off the Koreans.
They have, with only about 2 minutes roughly remaining now for this attack, which means for DeToNator.KOREA, they still have some attempts back that they can use. They still have roughly about maybe 3 fights if they can reset quickly enough, assuming that they'll lose some fights in the middle of that, but at the same time, Blitz is about to get this EMP. There's no ult on the other side of a bang, and crucially, no response EMP from Crazies just yet.
If a bang can get either that Transcendence or that sound barrier off at the right time, and not have either of those members hacked out, they could be in business here, but again, still uphill. Blue already pulling back. I'll do some more defensive high ground. Blitz is in position for this EMP. He's been able to finish shot. Oh, headshot from Blue. Perfect placement on that one. Hadn't realized that he was right behind him there. Blitz losing his life for that. This is good news for a bang. This lets them at least kind of steer their way through this fight. Looking to get the closeout now on Krong. They got the tanks out of the mix It did cost them that sound barrier, but they've still got other tools coming up.
This is part of the problem of DeToNator.KOREA. Sometimes they aren't giving respect to the right members. I do believe Blitz was able to see blue there because catching it from his POV, I managed to see blue. I'd be quite surprised if Blitz wasn't able to see him. Could have, in fact, hacked Blitz blue instead. Gotten that kill into blue, decided to hack Smileable, got himself headshotted, but they do come in with a big advantage. Logitech Geobang were definitely under a lot of pressure right then, and they had to use a lot of ults.
Yeah, it could even be a case of tunnel vision, seeing him but not noticing him. But at any rate, this time not going to make the same mistake. They've gone right after blue off the top of it, and already dropping Narc, and Smart mistake once again is the other side of that coin, where a Bang's tanks get pressured out, where the coordination isn't there. They're too separated, too split off, and now it all falls down for a Bang. That's going to be the cap out for DeToNator.KOREA with a very clean fight immediately following what had been a bit of a misfire. But that's the thing, they had at least the time to get that extra fight.
There was a couple of misfires. A couple of them were also just a Bang playing out of their minds currently anyway, and playing out of their minds in this sense, certain example would kind of look like, you know, very, very well coordinated dives, very good mechanics from their players. The fact that, you know, if you don't deal with players like Blue and the Widowmaker, he is going to get response kills. And this time around, as was already mentioned, DeToNator.KOREA weren't interested in playing the offensive Widowmaker against Blue's defensive Widowmaker, which means they need a different approach to Blue's Widowmaker, which up until the end, I mean, it was kind of 50-50. Part of the times you did see dives going specifically for him. Other times they didn't really look at him, and when you didn't look at him, well, he got the kills.
And that's the thing, it felt very kind of two-wayed. It felt like either Blue was getting enough picks and other kills were coming through as well, that DeToNator just didn't have enough to go on. At other times it felt like despite how many picks Blue was trying to get in response, DeToNator's dive was too tidy, too coordinated, and that was the benefit of going for that double flanker over contesting the Widowmaker. They often had that little bit of extra pressure on the tanks of a Bang. When they were able to catch them slightly out of position, they could close out on them very quickly. Ultimately, I like how DeToNator chose to play that one out. I think they were more playing to a Bang's, I don't want to say weaknesses, but certainly the places where they have misexecuted the most often, and just kind of relying on the fact that numerically it would come up often enough that they could eke out an advantage.
We saw the EMP arms race again this time around, right between both the Sombra players and both the teams, but the key difference is because DeToNator.KOREA had so much more time to work with towards the end, 2 minutes to get that cart across the point, and the cart was basically there already. DeToNator.KOREA know that they just have to get a little bit of advantage, snowball that into a couple of picks, and that'll be enough because it puts a Bang on such a back foot. They can't reset. A Bang can't wait for their members. They can't wait for a full six, come out with that defender's advantage. There is no defender's advantage when you're forced to trickle onto the cap. So because of that, you have a moment where Bang have to use extra ultimates. They have to throw in the EMP as well. That puts them onto the back foot, and then DeToNator.KOREA, they pounce. Right now, 2-0 up. It's not looking great for a Bang. DeToNator.KOREA look to be attempting to close out the scam, but they might be able to get that 3-0. And after this break, we'll find out if they can.